Chief starter Gary Folk Jr. The green flag is out, and we are underway with our first heat race of the night. As they head off down towards turn number 1, Tony Hanberry grabs that top spot. Jody Buckley right there in his back bumper. We know Lightning has been having some trouble in the 31 car. He had some trouble during hot laps. Has been taking some extra practice out there. So comes off turn number 4. Tony Hanberry will lead lap number 1. Top 3 finishers will be re-handicapped in this heat race. As they go off of turn number 2, Hanberry still holds that spot. Buckley right on his back bumper. Wilbur there for the 3 spot. Frisbee in 4. Michaela Rivkema there in 5th. And Matt Clemens rounds out the field. And Tony Hanberry will lead lap number 2. 3-car breakaway at the head of the field as they go down towards turn number 1 once again. Tony Hanberry's drifting that car a little bit wide, opening the downside. Here comes Buckley taking a peek to the inside. Is right there, had to black out. Whoa, he almost backed out of it. Got into Tony Hanberry, turns Hanberry in front of the field, and caution will come out. Wow, now that's what you call a racing incident. Field lining up, getting set to go back to green flag racing. They come down to the restart zone out of turn number 4. Green flag flies. John Wilbur brings them down. Crosses the stripe, heads down to turn number 1 as Jeff Frisbee thought about fouling him on through. Couldn't quite get it done. As Frisbee drifts up the speedway, here comes Hanberry. Trying to get by on the backstretch, couldn't quite do it. They go down towards turn number 3 once again. It'll be 3 laps complete this time. Wilbur with that top spot. Wilbur's car developing a bit of a push as it drifts way up high in the turns. Frisbee there in 2nd has the back bumper full of Hanberry, and then Buckley right behind Hanberry. Michaela Rivkema and Matt Clemens halfway, 4 down and 4 to go. 4 more laps to decide this first heat race of the night, and do hear some sourness in the Clemens 9X. That car sounds like it's missing a cylinder. As they go down towards turn number 4, once again, John Wilbur with the lead. Stretches it out to be about a 10-car length advantage as they head off towards turn number 1. Hanberry trying to work the low side on Frisbee. Frisbee just up high enough where that Hanberry cannot get through on the inside. They go down towards turn number 3 once again, follow through in each other's tire tracks as they come off of turn number 4. 2 to go. The twin sticks are up. Parallel flags showing just 2 more laps to go. Heading down, this time white flag will be displayed. John Wilbur with that white flag. Wilbur looking for his 2nd heat race win of the season, comes off of turn number 2. Hanberry got by the 2 of Frisbee. Now Buckley trying to do it down into turn number 3. Can't quite make it as they come off of turn number 4. The win will go to John Wilbur. Tony Hanberry recovers to finish 2nd. Frisbee finishes 3rd. And finishing 4th will be Jody Buckley. Michaela Rivkema finishing in the 5th spot. And remember, the top 3 will be re-handicapped for the feature action here tonight.
And heat number 2 up right now, and they are waiting for the green. Gary Folk drops it. And the 4-pack going into turn number 1 side by side. Slight advantage for Paul Johnson, but Tyler Rivkema is going to hang on to the low side. Zach Curran is right there waiting for one of them to give him a lane to run in. Curran off turn number 4, and he gets around and underneath the 77 of Johnson. He'll now go to work on Tyler Rivkema. Looking low, looking high, looking low again. Paul Johnson fell back to 3rd where he is running. 4th is Dylan Terry, and off the pace, Chris Clemens in car number 95M. Zach Curran looked like he was going to do a little bit of slip sliding up there in turn number 1, trying to get a run now off 2. He's to the inside. He backs off just a bit over there at turn number 3. Bobbles just a bit as well. Zach Curran got a lot of power under the hood there. And that bobbling back and forth gave Paul Johnson a brief shot at taking back 2nd spot, but no go. Rookie Dylan Terry running in the 4th spot. Tyler Rivkema continues out in front. Both of the Rivkema youngsters running in the Sportsman Modified Division this year as rookies. Curran tried to close the gap on him again. And lap number 5 of 8 up on the scoreboard as Chris Clemens is off the pace and probably headed for the pits. Down the back straightaway, separated by about 3 feet or so. Every time Curran kind of steps out of line, his car kind of does the old bobble maneuver. 2 laps to go. And let's see if Zach has what it takes to do the outside sweep. The second groove is opened up for some drivers. And Tyler was able to hang on to the race lead. White flag for Ripkema. Curran again taking a peek, trying to muster up what he needs down the back straightaway. Looking at the outside. He's going to give it the old college try, but it's going to be Tyler Ripkema. And a good job, good run put in by Tyler Ripkema as a rookie to pick up a heat race. Zach Curran will finish second. Then it's Paul Johnson, Dylan Terry, and out of this one early, Matt Clemens.
There's the green flag flies. We're underway. 6 laps of distance here for the 4-cylinders in their heat. They go down towards turn number 1. Brandon Amy has the early race lead with Morich in the second spot. Jeff Amy in third. Jeff took a couple of rounds of practice today, and Brandon only one. Brandon had some motor woes last week. Looks like he's got them corrected so far as he's out front, pulling away by a car length over the 94 of Frank Morich. As they come down towards turn number 3, outside move by Jeff Amy trying to get around the 94 of Frank Morich, but nothing doing. Brandon Amy's going to hold on to that spot. Brandon Amy with a heat race win and a feature win. Same thing for brother Jeff. And right now, Frank Morich is the meat in the middle of an Amy sandwich as they come over into turn number 3. Halfway, 3 down and 3 to go. They get down towards turn number 1. Morich closing in on Brandon Amy. Has to shift lanes as he got up there in the entrances to turn number 2. He stays off him, heads down towards into turn number 3. They all close up to within the car length of one another as they come off for the parallel flags 2 more times around for the 4-cylinders. So they head over towards turn number 1. Off to turn 2. Brandon Amy continues to run a nice, even pace. Frank Morich there in the second spot. Now, Morich has done some sportsman duty here in the past as the white flag flies. As they worked off turn number 2 down the backstretch for the final time here in this 6-lap 4-cylinder stock heat. The 10 of Brandon Amy, the 94 of Frank Morich, the 10X of Jeff Amy. They work off turn number 4, coming to Gary Folk's checkered flag, and they're going to stay in that order. Brandon Amy, his second heat race win of the season. Frank Morich finishing second. Jeff Amy finishing in the third spot.
Brad Knapp and Guy Summers eager to go. That starting spot between the white lines off turn number 4. They reach it. And right away, Charlie Sharpstein does a nosedive to the inside. Chris Zacharias does a bonsai move through the middle. And Jeff Goodwin finding an opening on the low side. So the ones that were toward the back in the course of about a quarter mile were up in front. And Charlie Sharpstein, leader of lap number 1, Chris Zacharias second. Third is Goodwin. Fourth is being discussed between Brad Knapp and the guy that started alongside him, Guy Summers. Joe Snell back there, as is the 31 of Nichols. Knapp clears the 33 car, and Snell does the same. And Snell now to the inside of Brad Knapp. Well, we've got Chris Zacharias putting a ton of pressure on Charlie Sharpstein. Looks like he was going to try and make a run of it off turn number 2. Chris now committed to that outer groove. You can see coming off turn number 4 that he is definitely running the higher line here at the track. Jeff Goodwin right there watching all that drama unfold right in front of him. Charlie Sharpstein still our race leader. 3 laps have been completed. This time by the twin sticks will be crossed. Sharpstein still the leader by about half a car length. Goodwin about the same distance back in 3rd. And Mike Nichols taking away 4th from Joe Snell. Back up front, we got a great battle for the top 3 spots. Zacharias again looking to put the car number 7 out in that outer groove. Giving Charlie a little love tap up there in turn number 4. That's about all there was to it. 2 laps to go was the indication as they passed the flagger stand. Down the back straightaway, Zacharias staying right with Charlie Sharpstein, whose two brothers will be out in the next heat race. Zacharias trying to stomp on the old gas pedal as hard as he possibly can. 1 lap remaining here. And in the 3 weeks that we have run, we have been talking about the fact that there is an outer groove here. Some have had better success than others. Chris now with a good shot. It's all going to boil down to what happens off turn number 4, and they drag race down to the stripe, and the old guy does it. Chris Zacharias nipping Charlie Sharpstein at the stripe for a heat win. Jeff Goodwin will finish this one in 3rd, 4th going to Mike Nichols. Then it's Guy Summers, Joe Snell, and Brad Knapp.
Gary Folk looks the field over, and the green flag is out. We are underway, and Lee Sharpstein giving R.J. Zacharias a push down the home stretch as they head into turn number 1. R.J. Zacharias will make the move around Chris Conrad. Here comes Lee Sharpstein as well. Glenn Lapolis trying to do the same as they go down towards turn number 3. Lee Sharpstein working over the back of R.J. Zach as they come off of turn number 4, and R.J. Zacharias will lead. Lee Sharpstein right there as they go down into turn number 1. Lee Sharpstein puts it down in there deep, pulls alongside, takes an advantage off of turn number 2. Lee Sharpstein now your race leader with R.J. Zacharias back in 2nd. Lapolis 3rd. Gil Sharpstein in the 4th spot. Conrad in 5th. A little bit of a push developing on Conrad's car. As you can see him goes in low, and the car just shoots up to the top of the speedway. Chris Conrad, though, doing a great job in car number 6. Your lead is Lee Sharpstein, car number 8, as they go down the backstretch. Pulling away now from R.J. Zacharias by 6 or 7 car lengths as they come down to turn number 3. Boy, watching Lee Sharpstein work that car, it is just artwork the way he gets around the speedway. And he's doing a lot of it with the throttle. He's got great throttle control in that car. Not spinning the tires. He's getting the grip he needs, not breaking traction. And that's what's getting him around the speedway. Not forcing the car down into the turns or being real choppy with it. As he comes off of turn number 4, he's going to find the cross flags. 4 down, 4 to go. Lee Sharpstein with the lead. Glenn Lapolis within 2 car lengths of R.J. Zacharias, trying to get up there in that 2nd spot. But your top 3 redraw cars and pulling away now from 4th spot, Gil Sharpstein as they go down the backstretch. Excuse me, top 4 cars are redrawing, so Gil the last redraw car. Lapolis closes to within a half a car length now as he works on R.J. Zacharias. But Lapolis is going to have to change his line if he wants to get around R.J. So they go down the backstretch once again, single file. They head down towards turn number 3. Off turn number 4, parallel flags, 2 laps to go. Lee Sharpstein showing the way. Boy, Lee Sharpstein, that entire McDonald Motorsports crew really doing a great job with that car after all the problems they had on week 1, dropping out of the feature after, I think, 8 laps. Come back, win the feature last week, looking dominant again here tonight. White flag will be displayed for Lee Sharpstein. RJ in 2nd, Lapolis in 3rd. Gil Sharpstein trying to figure out what's it going to take to get that 6 7/8 up there so he can start messing around with his younger brother. He's really trying to figure that out. But right now, it's younger brother Lee down in turn number 4. He's preparing to get his second heat race win of the season, and does. R.J. Zacharias holds off Glenn Lapolis for second. Lapolis finishes third. Gil Sharpstein fourth and final handicap spot. Then it's Chris Conrad, the 23 of Dusty Snell, and the 14 of Jake Snell. And to bring you the start of our first late model heat of the season, my good friend and partner, Carol Husak.
Well, they are staged and ready, getting to that turn 4 starting area. Gary Folk lets them go, and Jerry Deneen takes right off into turn number 1. Lamoureux will duck in behind him. Arthofer running in third. Joe Brown to the inside of Josh Lloyd. The Black Machines running third, fourth, and fifth on this opening lap. Brown running in the 4th position. But Jerry Deneen, that Mustang, throwing some sparks up there underneath the car in turn number 1. That's how quick he's getting around here. Brown getting a run on Arthofer, and he will dive to the inside of him over in turn number 3, complete the pass through the corners. So Joe Brown up to third. And here comes the Scott Nurmi, number 20. Nurmi taking over 4th spot. That'll put Arthofer back to 5th. Beretta running in 6th, but he is looking, and he's about to make a move on the 71.
Well, talked to Jerry Deneen at the start of the evening here tonight, and Jerry's looking to be the first late model to break the 18-second barrier for a lap here at Shangri-La 2. He's knocking on the door of the track record. Right now, his best time out there, 18.308, track record 18.303. And so Deneen doing really well at the halfway mark, pulling away from Jim Lamoureux as they go into turn number 1. Off of turn number 2, Deneen holds an 8 to 10 car length advantage over Lamoureux. Then it's half a straightaway back to Joe Brown in third, Nurmi in 4th, Beretta there in the 5th spot. Billy Coyle dicing it up with the 84 of Josh Lloyd and Lauren Arthofer in the 71. 5 laps down, 3 to go.
Well, these drivers, some were here for practice, some were not. And this will give them a pretty good indication of how the track is going to be under the lights. All the practice sessions were in the heat of the day, and the last couple weeks have been pretty darn hot. Jim Lamoureux not right on the back bumper of the 11, although the gap has widened just a bit. Joe Brown has been able to close it somewhat over the last few laps. This time by, it'll be white flag time for the 11 of Deneen.
And Jerry Deneen's hoping that the speeds are going to pick up during the nighttime hours as he comes off at turn number 2. Holds that same about 8 to 10 car length advantage over Jim Lamoureux as they go down to turn number 3. All I've heard out of Jim Lamoureux during the practice sessions is he's looking for speed. Right now, Jerry Deneen takes the first white flag or checkered flag of the season, with Jim Lamoureux finishing in 2nd, Joe Brown finishing in 3rd, Scott Nurmi finishing in 4th. 5th goes to Joe Beretta, then Billy Coyle, Josh Lloyd, and Lauren Arthofer. Hanbury and Ripkema, the veteran and the rookie on the front row. He's almost starting to sound like Bruno there for a minute. As they get ready to go racing off of turn number 4, Chief Starter Gary Folk Jr. looks the field over. Green flag is out. We are underway with Tyler Ripkema stuck up in that upper groove, but he's powering around lightning as Tyler Ripkema takes the top spot, bringing the Zach Kern, number 94, along with him. They continue that battle down the backstretch into turn number 3. Ripkema comes down to that lower groove, comes off the turn. Tyler Ripkema will lead lap number 1.
Well, I'll tell you, he has really stepped up his program here in the last couple of weeks. It's all about experience on the track, and he's getting it. Week 3 as a racing competitor in this class. Side by side, the battle for the 3rd spot. And it's car number 4, John Wilbur, who's gotten underneath Zach Curran's number 94 and about to take over that spot as they cross the stripe. Wilbur in 3rd, Curran back to 4th, chasing Hanbury.
Well, Wilbur and Curran settle that battle down the backstretch, but Wilbur looking for more, goes in, touches the back bumper of Tony Hanbury, breaks his momentum just for a minute, allowing Curran to pull back up alongside, but they straighten it out. Here in the home stretch is Tony Hanbury, moves down to the bottom of the speedway, tries to take a look to the inside of Tyler Ripkema, but Ripkema now pulling away by 3 car lengths over in turn number 2. Down the backstretch they run into turn number 3. John Wilbur in the 4. The 31 is Tony Hanbury. And Wilbur off the pace as he comes off of turn number 4. A tough break for John Wilbur. Wilbur low and slow in turn number 1. Tough break for Wilbur on this Memorial Day.
Tyler Ripkema continues to lead this race. Now, one of his mentors is right behind him, Tony Hanbury. So he's watching the pathway that he is choosing to run here, and also probably trying to decide if and when to make a move to get around him. Zach Curran is still running in the 3rd spot. Right behind him, it's Jody Buckley. So a lot of these guys that we saw running nose to tail in their heat races have paired up again in this feature event.
Well, Jody Buckley has caught that group of 3 that was up front, and now he's putting the pressure on Curran as they come off of turn number 4. Tyler Ripkema continues to lead now. He's led 7 laps here in his racing career at Shangri-la 2. All of them coming right now as they come off of turn number 2. They're going to come up on the slow car of Chris Clemens down into turn number 3. Ripkema has to go into turn a little bit higher than he has been, but Tony Hanbury staying right in Ripkema's tire tracks with 8 laps complete.
Watching over there on the hauler, Dad Dean Ripkema has a split vision here with 2 kids, one in the lead pack and one in the second group. One now as our race leader for all 8, maybe got almost 9 laps of this event, 2 groups of 4. And the lead pack, as I said, Tyler Ripkema continues to hold off Tony Hanbury and Zach Curran.
Well, they found something in the setup that Tyler likes because he's been quick all night. Talk a little bit for a minute in that second pack. Paul Johnson leading that pack of Dylan Terry, Jeff Frisbee, and Michaela Ripkema. But up front, boy, you can barely fit a sheet of paper between some of these cars in the turns as they close right in. Behind Tyler Ripkema, they're going to come up on the 9X of Matt Clemens to put him a lap down. As Zach Curran went in the turn, got up the Speedway, lost his momentum. Jody Buckley went by on the inside.
Well, he gives him a little bit of a chrome horn application over there in 3 as he tries to regroup. Just got out of the racing group enough to open up that inside lane, and now he's giving Jody a little bit more of a chrome horn application up there in 1 and 2 as Tony Hanbury starts to look to the inside of Tyler Ripkema.
Well, the lead pack got by the slow car of Matt Clemens. Now the second group looks like they're starting to reel in the first group. Paul Johnson, Dylan Terry are hooked up, and they're trying to close in on the 94 Zach Curran. But up front, he's going to be seeing the cross flags halfway. Just 12 laps will be remaining for Tyler Ripkema in his first feature he's led in his sportsman career, and he's led all 13 laps so far.
Well, would it be a great night for him if he can sweep the action here, having already picked up his heat race. Tony Hanbury looks like he's hoping to make a move over there in turn number 3, closes the gap, looks low, but Ripkema has him covered here so far. These Ripkema youngsters, both of them have a lot of experience racing, starting with the Southern Tier Microd Club years ago and working their way up through some various divisions. Jody Buckley looking like he's getting a little antsy now, too.
Well, Jody Buckley and Tony Hanbury, they had a little contact during their heat race. Right now, Buckley trying to race it clean around Hanbury in that 31 car. Buckley in the 20, they work off turn 2, down the backstretch, separated by a car length. The gap out there right now between Tyler Ripkema and Tony Hanbury is 0.2 of a second. They work off turn number 4 this time. It'll be 15 laps down now, 16 and 9 to go for the youngster as he works over in turn number 2. The battle behind him, though, could be working to his advantage as Tony Hanbury trying to hold off Jody Buckley.
Well, certainly that is where you're driving offensively and defensively at the same time, and that's the situation now for Hanbury. It looks like he has the best shot in 2 and in 4 as Zach Curran now dives to the inside of Buckley and reclaims 3rd spot.
Power move to the inside by Zach Curran. Got to wonder, was he holding back? Was he saving something? Because he made that move look pretty easy over there in turn number 2 on the veteran Jody Buckley. Buckley trying to battle back on the inside down here in turn 1. Not going to be able to get it done. And Tyler Ripkema continues to hold on to just a little over 0.2 of a second advantage over to 31 of Tony Hanbury.
Well, the laps are winding down. Zach Curran getting more racy than ever now. He's got a tough competitor in front of him, and that being the 31 of Hanbury, whose day started out not so good. He had some motor problems in his hot lap session, needed an additional bit of hot lap time, and Hanbury taking a peek to the inside. Zach Curran is going to slide up alongside Tony Hanberry. We have a great battle for position number 2. Again, Hanberry defensive and offensive driving at the same time. Buckley right there in 4th, all chasing Tyler Ripkema. And Jody Buckley spins over there in turn number 3. First caution period, 5 laps away from the finish of this one as Jody Buckley spins over there in turn number 3. Well, Tony is a master of the restart, and if Tyler's going to learn something, he's going to learn it right about now as they come off turn number 4 and head down to the front straightaway. And as almost predicted, Tony Hanberry sweeping around Tyler on the outside to take the race lead down the backstretch. Zach Curran is there running in the 3rd spot. 4th now, Dylan Terry in 5th. Jeff Frisbee. Haven't talked much about those drivers as they were back in that second group of cars. 4 laps remaining to settle the score here as we close out the month of May. Once in front, Hanberry has opened up the lead to about 3 car lengths as the field reached turn 3. Curran has a little bit of wheel contact with Tyler Ripkema. That's a bold move. Zach Curran trying to work that outside groove. Almost ran out of racetrack the last time by. And Tony Hanberry with 2 laps to go, 23 up on the board, 2 to go. Battle on for position number 2 as they go off turn number 2. Zach Curran still all over the back of that Tyler Ripkema number 32 machine. Once again, Zach Curran real high. This is the final lap. Tony Hanberry nice and smooth off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Battle still on for 2nd spot. Hanberry padding his advantage over that battle for 2nd, and lightning is going to strike here tonight. Hanberry picking up his first win of the season. Tyler Ripkema will finish in 2nd with Zach Curran. Another top 5 finish for him. Dylan Terry finishing in 4th position, and Jeff Frisbee rounding out the top 5. Buckley comes back to finish 6th. Then it's Johnson, Michaela Ripkema, and the other. Mojo Photos on hand now there to capture the moment when Tony comes out of the race car.
Well, race fans, he's climbing out of the car. Tony Hanberry, his first win of the season. And Tony taking care of his young family over there. Tony, congratulations after the last couple weeks here and your start to tonight. This has got to be a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, we still aren't where we're supposed to be. We're struggling with the motor. I mean, I really wanted to see Tyler win that race. He's going to be. I mean, he was fast. I mean, I was a little bit better than he was, and I wasn't going to press the issue with him, but he ran a heck of a race.
Yeah, what's it like running against what could be your mentor? He's mentoring with you.
Yeah, he did real good in the mic rods when he was racing that up until last year. Now he's in the big cars, him and his sister, and you know, we got his dad provides us what we got to have, and I got to thank Dean and Debbie for that. And my Uncle Don, we busted our butt the last 2 weeks with motor problems, and they're sticking behind me, and we're coming back every week.
Oh, well, congratulations on a great run for you here tonight, and I know there's other people that help you along the way.
Yeah, Phil Slater, he's here every week with me doing the tires and stuff, and my cousin Josh. Bill Hall, John Cassapian, like I said, my Uncle Don, he does a lot of the work on it for me. My wife, Danielle, and Kenzie. My grandma and grandpa aren't here tonight, and I want to send this to Grandpa.
A Memorial Day win for Grandpa. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Hanberry, his first win of the season.
And congratulations to Tony. Next up, our 10-lap feature for the 4 cylinders. Again, Mojo Photos capturing the moment down there, and under the white tent in the infield is the Mojo photo stand. At the end of the evening, when the gates open up, you're welcome to go over and meet and greet the drivers. If you recall from the heat race, these 3 stayed right together, separated by less than a car length. Let's see if they can do it now for 4 more laps. Green is out. Jeff Amy in the 10X leading off turn number 2, but he's going to drift up the racetrack just enough to open the inside for brother Brandon, but then just as he opened the door, he's going to slam it on him over there in 3. Jeff Amy leading lap number 1. Incidentally, last week when he won the race, didn't have too much to say in victory lane, and he told me tonight that's because that's the first car race he has ever won. He didn't know what to say. He was very excited, and he said he's gotten a lot of kidding about it over the week, but it's a great moment, and he said if he wins tonight, we'll refer to it to the second ever race that he has won. Lap number 2, no change. It's Amy, and Morich. Frank closing up on the back of Brandon just a bit over there in turn number 3. He's looking to the low side. Jeff Amy, the newer of the drivers, loaded with sponsors on the car. And it's Brandon who has no sponsors on his car, while Frank Morich is giving him a workover here. Frank out in that outer groove and takes over second at the stripe. So car number 94, the only one of the 3 that is not pulled into victory lane. Could it be his night? Off turn number 2, Frank has pulled away from Brandon Amy and going after Jeff now in the 10X. High five, halfway, call it what you will, from Chief Starter Gary Folk Jr. And perhaps the changes that Brandon made to the car, which is sounding a little sour right now, not quite the way to go. And Frank Morich is making a race out of this one. There's only 2 of them left as Brandon has pulled into the infield. It's down to less than a car length off the second corner. There will be 3 laps to go, this time by Morich to the low side. Does he have what it takes? Frank down there near the apron of the racetrack. He's going to see if he can get a run. This time by, the sticks will be parallel, indicating 2 laps to go. Jeff Amy continues out in front with Morich, about a car length back in second. Frank Morich has been a huge helper in the Zach Curran racing career, and he gets a run off turn number 2. And it's all going to boil down to 1/2 mile. White flag coming out. We'll either have our first repeat winner or we'll have a very happy first winner. Jolyn, get out there and push him, will you? I know. Separated by 1/2 a car length into turn number 3 for the final time. Morich is going to go for it. Not enough room. He's going to come up just a little bit short on this night, but it's back-to-back wins for Jeff Amy.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's climbing out of the car. Let him hear you. Jeff Amy, 2-time winner here at Shangri-la 2. So Jeff taking care of getting all the safety gear off and trying to catch his breath. You think racing is easy? It takes the wind out of you, that's for sure. In these fire suits, hot temperatures inside the car. And Jeff, congratulations, 2 wins in a row for you here at Shangri-La 2.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, you had a lot of pressure from Frank Morich. I mean, people say, geez, 3-car race, but the 3 of you guys really put on a show.
That's the best part about it. That's all we want to do is try and put on a show. We need more cars.
And we got to work on that. You guys got a lot of friends I know that are building cars and everything. But how close do you and Brandon work on your cars?
Every night, right by side. No, I'm sorry, side by side.
Okay, and you got a lot of people helping you along the way.
My family and friends, sponsors definitely. Gotta love America's Tree Service. Me, myself, and I. Jones's Car Wash. Bring your skin.
Okay, well, congratulations. 2 in a row. You're going to be the man to beat here at Shangri-La 2.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jeff Amy, winner here tonight at Shangri-La 2 on Memorial Day Madness.
And congratulations to Jeff. Next up on the schedule, the 25-lap street stock feature. They are staged. And our field approaching turn number 4, side by side. Nice formation off turn number 4. And as almost expected, it's RJ Zacharias getting bolted out in front. I think maybe with a little push from Glenn Lapolis, although he probably didn't need it. And look who else is on the move. Zacharias on the low side. Sharpstein Lee on the top side. They're going to be in a battle here for 3rd spot in a minute, right behind the 85 of Glenn Lapolis down the front straightaway. RJ Zacharias, our leader, Lapolis 2nd. Then it's Chris Zacharias, Lee Sharpstein, and the 05 of Jeff Goodwin. Gil Sharpstein is there in 6th. Here comes Charlie in 7th. 3 across for position number 8. It's Joe Snell on the low side with Conrad and Summers. And boy, they stayed 3 wide longer than I figured they would. Battle on for position number 3. Sharpstein is down there on the apron of the racetrack. Chris Zacharias giving him the room he needs, and boy, that is one fast machine there. Lee Sharpstein taking over position number 3, while RJ Zacharias continues to put a little bit of distance between himself and that great battle for 2nd.
Well, Glenn Lapolis is up in that 2nd spot right now. Lee Sharpstein down on the inside makes his move around Lapolis. He's bringing Chris Zacharias right along as they go down the backstretch once again. Lapolis hanging in there on the high side, and here comes Goodwin. Goodwin smelling the raw meat out there, just ready for the taking as he comes off of turn number 4. And he's there in that 5th spot looking for more as they go over towards turn number 1. 2-car breakaway at the head of the field. RJ Zach and Lee Sharpstein, they head down the backstretch into turn number 3. RJ Zacharias has a back bumper full of Lee Sharpstein. Lee down as far as he can go on the Speedway. RJ drifts up just a little bit, but doesn't give Lee enough room. They head down towards turn number 1.
Well, the room was there now, as RJ did give him the room he needed going into turn number 1 and off 2. New race leader started back in 6th position. Season, as we mentioned, not getting off to the kind of start he was hoping for. We have 2 groups of race cars, almost 3 now, as they have selected racing partners, if you will, all chasing down car number 8. They've a lot of them expressed the displeasure at having to stare at the back bumper of car number 8 here in the past 3 seasons. That's just how it's been written here for Lee Sharpstein. He continues to lead this time by. It'll be lap number 7.
Lee Sharpstein doing what he always does. He gets that car on a rail. 7, almost 0.8 of a second advantage by Lee Sharpstein over RJ Zacharias. And this is the best RJ has run all season here at Shangri-La 2. Chris Zacharias in 3rd. That car seems to get stronger as the run goes on, so we'll keep our eyes on the 7 as he's right up on the back bumper of RJ. Then it's Glenn Lapolis, Jeff Goodwin, Gil Sharpstein, Charlie Sharpstein. That is that first pack. Then we have a whole second pack coming up behind them with the Snell gang. The 11 is Joe Snell, Chris Conrad, Guy Summers, Brad Knapp, Mike Nichols, and Jake Snell, the final car out there on the Speedway. But back up front, it's no different. Lee Sharpstein on a rail leading on lap number 9.
Well, there's no real battles in that lead group to tell you about. It looks like a little bit of gap has opened up between the brothers Zacharias. RJ with about 2 car lengths, if you can call that opening up. It had been as close as 1. As Chris still running in the 3rd spot. Lapolis right there in the 4th position. Jeff Goodwin seems off the pace just a little bit. And Chris Zacharias looks like he wants to get a run on his younger brother coming off turn number 2. He's right there with him in 3, so what had been a 2-car gap between them is back down to next to nothing.
And we've got a yellow flag out on the Speedway here on lap number 11 to 26. As they come down into turn number 4, Gary Folk waves the green flag, and they are racing once again.
Well, what everybody hopes for is to stop Lee Sharpstein on a restart. That's their only opportunity. He's unstoppable, and the brothers Zacharias going back to work, while the brothers Sharpstein, Charlie and Gill, are pretty much side by side a little bit further back in their own battle for position. Charlie right now running in 6. And just to his right is brother Gill, our point leader. Gill just not quite up to speed here tonight. They'll have to go back and do some homework and see if what they can do to make the 34 and the 6 and 7/8 run up there with their kid brother. Lee continues to lead at lap number 12.
But the field's kind of starting to stack up behind the 71 of RJ Zach. As they work off turn number 2, Chris Zacharias trying to get around RJ. Can't do it down the backstretch heading into 3. He's got Jeff Goodwin on his back bumper. They come over to turn number 4. Slight breakaway between Goodwin and Glenn Lapolis as Lapolis' car kicks up the Speedway. Charlie Sharpstein right there, as is Gil Sharpstein. Back up front, though, side by side for 3rd. Goodwin takes a peek to the inside of Chris Zacharias. He still has a fender up alongside, pulls alongside going into turn number 3. But Chris Zacharias keeps on the hammer going into turn number 4 and holds off Goodwin.
Well, that actually started the lap prior as Chris bobbled up there in turn number 4, and it opened up that inside lane for Goodwin. Wasn't able to capitalize on it and claim the spot, however. So Chris Zacharias back in 3rd position, about 2 car lengths behind RJ, but he's like miles away at this point from our race leader, Lee Sharpstein, lap number 15 of 25 up on the board.
Well, Lee Sharpstein now a 2-second advantage over RJ Zacharias. RJ Zacharias 0.3 of a second advantage over Chris as they go down the backstretch. They've got a breakaway from Jeff Goodwin, who's kind of running all by himself there in the 4th spot. Glenn Lapolis closes in within a car length, but just cannot get back on the gas quick enough to stay up with Goodwin. They head down towards turn number 1 once again. Chris Zacharias challenges RJ over in turn 2. Chris going upstairs, but just cannot keep the momentum going as they head down the backstretch.
Well, it's been a while, actually, since Chris and RJ have raced together. RJ just kind of making his return to racing this year. He was a factor at the old Shangri-La for sure, and always a tough competitor when he's out there. So you got the brother thing, and I don't know how much that factors into anything. I'm not out there, but Chris is right there, and he's closed the gap once again. While they're battling for that spot, though, that's playing right into the hand of Lee Sharpstein.
Well, Chris giving his younger brother a shot in the caboose as they come off of turn number 4. Chris Zacharias trying to find any way to get around RJ at this point. Because Chris has a fast car, I think he can probably pull away from Goodwin. But right now, he is just mired there behind the 71 of RJ Zacharias. And they are losing distance to Lee Sharpstein. Nearly the full length of the straightaway now is the advantage for Lee Sharpstein. 19 laps are complete, just 6 laps to go. And we've got caution out on the Speedway as the 6 of Chris Bennett is around over in turn number 4. The 23 machine is also involved. Cars evenly matched in the first 6 positions as we see this restart unfold. They come down into turn number 3 once again, picking up the pace. Restart zone is turn number 4. Green flag's out. We are underway as Lapolis pulls down inside of Chris Zacharias as Chrissy tries to follow Lee Sharpstein through on the inside. Chris has position on RJ Zach. Pulls away down the backstretch. RJ battling back on the high side. It's Chris Zacharias on the inside. RJ to the high side. Chris Zacharias will take the measure in turn number 4. He's up to 2nd. In 3rd, here comes Lapolis, but RJ Zacharias holds off Lapolis going into turn number 1. Off turn number 2, RJ Zacharias On the high side, again, pulling away from Glenn Lapolis, puts Lapolis back to his back quarter panel. They go into turn number 3. RJ has position, now can pull down into line. Goodwin out of shape over in turn number 4, lost it on his own, collects the 6 and 7/8 of Gil Sharpstein and the 34 of Charlie Sharpstein, and everybody keeps going. Boy, Goodwin was out of shape all by himself over there in turn number 3. Coming up this time, the parallel flags will be displayed to your race leader, Lee Sharpstein, Chris Zacharias. They're in the second spot trying to hold on as we've got the 14 machine of Jake Snell slowing down the backstretch. He's low and slow in turn number 3. Lee Sharpstein has taken that parallel flag. Chris Zacharias in second. RJ Zacharias in third. Glenn Lapolis in fourth. Gil Sharpstein fifth. Charlie Sharpstein in sixth. The 11 of Joe Snell in 7th. Jeff Goodwin in the 8th spot. Mike Nichols sitting there in 9th spot as the white flag flies one more lap. Dusty Snell in the 23 machine is in the 10th spot. Then you've got the 6 of Chris Conrad and the 33 of Guy Summers. Checkered flag falls. Lee Sharpstein picks up his second win of the season. Chris Zacharias, his second consecutive runner-up finish. RJ Zacharias finishing in third. Glenn Lapolis finishing in the 4th spot.
Well, we got Lee climbing out of the car here, picking up a checkered flag again. Congratulations there, defending champ. You know, your season got off to a rough start, and I think everybody here knew you'd be back. Now 2 in a row. Nobody can catch you when you're out in front, Lee.
Yeah, this car here is a little different. They changed the weight rules around, so we changed a bunch of stuff, and it didn't slow us down any, that's for sure. And once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight on Memorial Weekend. Thank the vets and everyone else, and also I'd like to thank my mom and dad. Mike McDonald for being one of the best car owners that I've ever had, and I can't thank him enough. And Chuck from Pine City Tools, he's one of the best sponsors I've ever had, and he can't help out enough. Classic Cafe, PC Solutions, TMT, Harry's Automotive, this is by far the best motor you can buy, and he builds big power, that's for sure. And everybody else, you know, I can't thank them enough, and they better tune her up or it's going to be a long year.
You know, Lee, one question to you, and it's pretty much all said, but I'm sure you've got a title defense on your mind. You're 4th in points coming into the program tonight. This is certainly going to help you.
Yeah, it was a rough first week, but we'll bounce back.
Well, let's see what they think about your drive here tonight. Lee Sharpstein.
So Lee Sharpstein picking up yet another win here at Shangri-La 2 Motor Speedway, his second of the season. And boy, that team didn't take them long to get back into their program after having a real bad outing opening night. Car broke on lap number 8. Then even in the heat race last week, the car really wasn't all 100% to his liking. They thrashed on it some more before feature time, and boy, he had it on a rail for the feature. As we're set to go, let's see if we can get a new track record here with the late models. Jerry Deneen was knocking on the door during his heat race. Let's see if he's got it under the hood as they come over in turn number 4. Jim Lamoureux hard off the turn, and the green flag flies. Good friends side by side down into turn number 1. Lamoureux and Brown. Lamoureux has the best of Brown going into turn number 2, bringing Deneen right along with him. Deneen and Brown side by side as they head down towards turn number 3. Side by side battle for second as they come into turn number 4.
Well, Deneen looks like he's having a little bit of a handling issue perhaps in the early going. Just have to settle things in with that Mustang. He sends up some sparks up there in turn 1. but he does take over second spot. He was fast and furious in his heat race here tonight. Now after the 37 of Jim Lamoureux. Jim only coming up for one of our practice sessions, and that was last week he was here.
Well, Lamoureux was always saying he's trying to find some speed. That's the same chassis he had in the car last year. New motor, some new tin on the car. And they had that car sorted out pretty good, but he's looking for more speed. Meanwhile, Jerry Deneen, that's an all-new car. That Ford Mustang down into turn number 1, and that's a Ford Crate motor in that car tonight as he's working off of turn number 2 very, very quick. Again, he was a whisker away from setting a new track record in his heat. He's trying to get by Jim Lamoureux so he can have some racing room. Meanwhile, back in the pack, Joe Beretta in the 4th spot. In the 5th spot is Scott Nurmi as they try to settle that one out in turn 1.
Well, Joe Beretta making a pretty good haul up from Exeter, Pennsylvania, down near Pittston, Pennsylvania, and right now facing a challenge by the 20 of Scott Nurmi. He took a peek over there as they entered turn number 3. Didn't quite find enough room, and looks like he's setting up another peak up here in 1 and 2. For now, they will stay running in the 4th and 5th positions. Jim
Lamoureux, his advantage was a half a second over Jerry Deneen. Deneen a half a second over Joe Brown, and then it's quite a ways back, about 1.5 seconds to Joe Beretta from Joe Brown. Jim Lamoureux continues to show the race lead as he and Jerry Deneen now pulling away from Joe Brown by about 10 car lengths as they go down towards turn number 3. Deneen starting to close in on Lamoureux as they come off of turn 4.
Well, with a couple exceptions, we got 2x2 racing, and another battle that's going on is this one right here, Josh Lloyd in car number 84, and trailing him is the 94 of Billy Coyle. Billy looks like he slowed just a little bit coming off turn number 2. Probably heard me talking about him. Back up front, no change, and Joe Brown has not been able to close the gap between himself and Mr. Deneen.
Now, you hear some of those motors starting to break up right here to start-finish line. I do believe that's Joe Beretta. That's what they call the rev limiter chip. And Joe Beretta has been on the chip from practice day and even into tonight. And you'll hear that car starting to sound, it's popping just a little bit. He is running maximum RPMs that car is set up for just to protect that motor. But up front, I don't think there's any protecting anything with those lead 3. All 3 of those guys have a heavy foot, especially the big man in the lead. And Jim Lamoureux trying to do what he's done the last couple seasons here at the Speedway, win on opening night.
Right behind that group of 3, we see a swap of 4th and 5th as the Scott Nurmi, number 20, has taken over 4th place from Joe Beretta. Joe now also in a new machine this year, in a new look. He will fall back to position number 5 up front. Well, it's the same old, same old. I think the gap between 1st and 2nd looks a little bit narrower, however.
It's all starting to tighten in on Jim Lamoureux. He had a half a second advantage a few laps ago. Now that advantage is just 0.3 of a second as they cross the stripe this time by. Joe Brown still in 4th, and boy, I'll tell you, Joe Beretta, something about the gears in that car. He's just got to change his gearing because he is really running right up on the chip, but he's starting to slow as Nurmi pulling away from him as he goes down into turn number 3. Another battle out on the Speedway, Billy Coyle. And what I believe is just his 3rd late model race here around the concrete. And Billy Coyle running there with Josh Lloyd.
That is a battle for 6th and 7th, and Billy has been dogging him repeatedly as our field just took the halfway sign from our head starter, Gary Folk Jr. So what was a maybe battle for the lead is turning into a battle for 2nd as Joe Brown has caught Jerry Deneen down the back straightaway. It's down to half a car length, battle for 2nd.
Well, Joe Brown, he was really tough all season last year as he works off turn number 4. I think he had 6 wins here last season, and he's a very soft-spoken, really nice guy as he goes down to turn number 1. He is a fierce competitor, though, when he straps the helmet on. He's putting the number 11 of Jerry Deneen right in his crosshairs as he goes into turn number 3, and that challenge is causing the Jerry Deneen to lose focus just a little bit on Lamoureux. That's allowing Lamoureux to pull away.
Well, that's another case of you got to drive defensively to hold your spot, but you want to drive offensively to catch up to the one in front of you. So right now, a little bit of breathing room for Jim Lamoureux as the laps are winding down. Lap number 17 of 25 going up on the scoreboard this time by. And Joe Brown, as Tom said, the soft-spoken driver, picked up a career first win last year and backed it up about 5 more times before going on to win the track championship just a year ago. Purchased the car. Of course, they could have swapped cars and things over the winter as well, but the car that he purchased for last season was Jim Lamoureux's old machine. And Lamoureux was searching for speed. I think he's found some, and we will have 6 to go when they cross the stripe this time by. And look at this run for second. Joe Brown finding a little bit of the inside off turn number 4. And Deneen gave him the room he needed. He takes the spot away. Thank you very much. This time by, Joe Brown will have 5 laps to try and catch his buddy Jim Lamoureux. So the 5-finger, not a discount, but a 5-finger indication from Gary Folk to the competitors out there that we are really moments away, and now 4 laps this time by from the finish of this season opener for the ASA late models. And around goes the 20. Oh, he had such a good run going. Not so much about where you start on these restarts as where you are when you get to turn 1. We've seen some make that pass on the outside. Jim hoping to prevent that from happening, and our starter, if he doesn't wave that flag aggressively, it may well be called back. Those faded white lines up there kind of surrounding Scott up there in turn number 4, anywhere between those lines is where Gary Folk will decide if he's going to throw the green. Let's see if it's a little bit more active, and it is. Jerry Deneen took a peek to the inside, thought better of it, and now it's all about Jim Lamoureux and Joe Brown over now the final 3+ laps in our opening night race for the ASA late models. Joe Beretta running in 4th. 5th is Lauren Arthofer, Scott Nurmi, and Josh Lloyd. And Brown taking a peek. He looked down on the apron of the racetrack, and this time by, it's 2 to go. Jim Lamoureux has picked up championships basically everywhere he has run in his career, at Chemung, here, Flemington, the old Shangri-la, and 1 lap away from a sweet taste of victory for the team from Sweet Valley, Pennsylvania. Joe Brown, the Tunkhannock driver, is right there, separated by, it widens to a car length at the entrance to the corners. And off turn number 4, Jim Lamoureux getting the first win of the year. Joe Brown will finish in 2nd. 3rd going to Jerry Deneen. 4th to Joe Beretta. 5th to Nurmi. Then it's Arthofer and Lloyd.
Well, Jim Lamoureux down here getting a cold drink as he's ready to climb out of the car. Race fans, let him hear it. Jim Lamoureux, season opener winner here at Shangri-La 2. Same chassis, new motor, new body panels on the car, but you can't beat the experience of this man from Sweet Valley, Pennsylvania. Jim, new season, same result. You have the thing about these opening night wins.
Well, we work all winter. We never take a break. We work 365 days a year on this car.
Well, you've been up here, you've been practicing, you put a lot of laps on this car already, and you were really trying to find something.
Well, what happened was the first weekend we were here, our motor was sick. We bent valves. We raced the last race at the Mountain Speedway last year, and we bent the valves in it. So that's screwed us bad.
So coming out with a brand new motor, new body panels on the car, but the same, pretty much same chassis.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. We changed a few things.
Looks like it could be a lot of competition for you out there. Joe Brown, obviously, Jerry Deneen, just to name a couple.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's who gets in the lead first. I mean, we're all pretty equal. Just we need more cars. That's the bottom line.
And I know you got a lot of help from your friends and your team.
Yeah, Barry. I got Donnie, I got Tommy, I got Frankie, Donnie Sr., Tommy Hart, Tommy Vitale, Tommy Hartzell, Mike. That's my son Jim.
Well, congratulations,
Well, thank you.
Maybe we'll see you again in Victory Lane.
Oh, I plan on being back next week.